Shortly after 6:30 p.m. Eastern last night, we saw something we've not seen in more than a half century. Astronauts launching a mission to the moon.
4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff. The crew of Artemis II now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
This will just never get old to watch. The 8-minute climb to space set the astronauts on a 10-day mission that will take them farther away from Earth than humans have ever gone before. Now, right now, so at this moment, the crew is just waking up from a scheduled 4-hour nap as they orbit the Earth. NASA is using this orbit to check out the Orion capsule and make sure everything's working properly before it heads off toward the moon. So far, except for a brief issue with the capsule's toilet, everything is working fine, we understand. CBS News' Cristian Benavides has more.
It was an amazing ride uphill.
The crew of Artemis II now in orbit.
We forgot how beautiful it is to look down on Earth.
Hours after a successful launch from Florida's Kennedy Space Center.
Booster ignition. And liftoff.
Roughly 9 million pounds of thrust propelled the 4-person team on NASA's first manned moon mission in more than 50 years, shaking the nearby CBS News set and igniting cheers from crowds who came to watch history in the making.
It was the coolest thing I've seen ever.
Last night, President Trump congratulated NASA and the crew. Americans Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Canadian Jeremy Hansen.
They are on the way, and God bless them. These are brave people.
The crew will get an unprecedented view of the far side of the moon and set a record for the farthest distance ever traveled from Earth.
This NASA animation shows the possible flight path of the 10-day mission around the moon and back. Throughout that time, the crew will test the Orion spacecraft systems and engines before a planned splashdown in the Pacific Ocean.
We'll keep gathering data over the next 10 days. We'll share updates, but we'll call success when they're in the water safely.
The mission is a critical first step towards sending astronauts back to the surface of the moon in 2028 and eventually constructing a permanent moon base.
Les Johnson was a chief technologist for NASA and joins us now to talk about what's happening and the potential of what comes next. He's also the author of a number of books, including A Traveler's Guide to the Stars. Les, good morning. Great to have you here on what is a historic moment for this crew and for the rest of us. As I mentioned, right now, the crew is scheduled to be waking up. What exactly are they waking up to, and how do they decide when, I guess, to swing out of orbit and head to the moon?
Well, they're waking up this morning after about a 4-hour nap, and what they're going to do is check out all the systems, make sure everything's working all right, and in about an hour, they're going to fire the engines to raise the lowest part of their orbit, called the perigee, from about 115 miles up to equal the highest part of their orbit, which is about 44,000 miles. Right now, it's kind of a egg-shaped orbit. It's not circular. And in order to leave for the moon, they need to have that smooth circular orbit at 44,000 miles. And after they reach that, they're going to be given another rest break. If everything's working great, in about 12 hours, they'll fire their engine, and they will be then moving at about 25,000 miles per hour on a trip to the moon. So if all the systems are working right, it looks like we're going.
And NASA has cool live real-time features where people can follow along in this mission in real time for the next 10 days. There was a brief issue, though, with the capsule's toilet. Not something we usually like to talk about, but that was fixed quickly. But how does that show us how the troubleshooting process is working?
Well, the troubleshooting process, it was an indicator light. It wasn't like they went in and had a malfunction, I don't think. But what's important about that is going to the moon is more than just the propulsion system. I mean, it's everything you need to have the crew survive and thrive. That's going to the bathroom, it's the water, it's the air, and all those have to be working right before they're going to commit to the mission. So this crew is going to be checking out every possible system they can with the help of ground control to make sure everything's good for go. Because once they fire those engines to go to the moon, they're pretty much committed to the full mission duration, and it'll be over a week before they come back.
And so how do you assess the mission so far? It's fresh, it's just started, there's a lot of excitement. What can you measure?
Well, for me, I think the excitement, especially here in Huntsville, where I worked at the Marshall Space Flight Center, where most of my neighbors worked on this mission, is palpable. You can taste it. In fact, there were a few people out and about yesterday. Everybody was glued to their TV watching. But this is an important first step. Once we have this mission successfully completed, we do the next mission to test rendezvous at the moon. The next step is boots on the ground, and then that moon base that I've been waiting on since I was 10, and we had our last person walk on the moon.
Just incredible, and goes to show how long it takes to make progress of these leaps. Les, great to have you with us this morning. Thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me.